Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Farms. Check it out. I got this Lifetime 24 volt 100 amp hour battery I'm going to be showing off to y'all today. But before I get to it, let me remind you I have a new channel, Farpoint Mowers and More. If you're into the content I used to make here on the main channel about garden tractors, riding mowers, repairs to those things, and the garden implements you can get for them, head on over there and hopefully you will like what you see and subscribe. Anyway, on to this. This summer, a lot going to happen here on the farm. This actually was originally planned for last summer, but major upgrades to our solar system. We have a 1200 watt array. That's going to get expanded to nearly 4,000 watts. And the 120 volt system that I currently have is getting upgraded to a 240 volt system so that we can run the majority of our house. Pretty much after this upgrade, we're going to run everything but the water heater, the AC unit, and our electric heat, which we never use anyway. Well, we use the first two, we just don't use the electric heat. As part of that, I am continuing upgrades to the battery box system that I have. I have about, at 48 volts, which is what the system is going to be, I have about 680 amp hours. This is going to upgrade that again with another battery that I already have. So let's check this out. These things are really dropping in price, which is really nice. I think that it's incredible. Lithium technology is really coming along as quickly as it is. I know Lifetime reached out to me on this and asked if I was interested in reviewing one of their smaller batteries. They had some 12 volt stuff, which is perfect for RVs and camping setups. But for a whole house system, you're really going to want to look at 24 and really honestly 48 volt. In my case, the 24 volt works because I have so many 24 volt batteries that I can just link two similar batteries together and get my 48 volts. 24 volt 100 amp hour product manual. It is a 100 amp hour BMS battery management system. Lithium iron phosphate battery, LiPo. And batteries are potentially dangerous. It's just like safety stuff. It does talk about series and parallel connections, and it'll tell me maximum continuous output is 2,560 watts. That's a lot of wattage. Now this battery won't last long, before it's discharged at that rate, but that's just something for you to be aware of if you had something that was extremely high draw as a startup wattage and then drop way down. Over plus or minus 4,000 times of charge and discharge, which is pretty darn good. It says say to recharge every 3 months if you're not using it. So here, and again, part of the upgrades, here for the very darkest part of winter from like early December through early March, we are offline. The solar is sitting there and it is just turned off because lithium can't be charged under 32 degrees. Well, some say they go down to like 27, but I'm not risking it with the kind of money these things cost. So we just turn it off. Part of the upgrades I'm doing is we're going to take one of those diesel heaters, put it in with the battery box and a temperature gauge so that we can keep it, I'm going to keep it at about 40, maybe 42, just to make sure that it always stays above freezing. And in a box size of, I think the whole box is going to be 4 by 6. We're not talking about a lot of wasted fuel to keep an area that big warmed up. Some people will just literally have a 100 watt light bulb that runs all the time or is on a timer when the temperature gets low. I don't know that that's going to work very well in my situation. When it gets cold here, it gets cold, negative 11, negative 15, and I don't think a 100 watt light bulb is going to be able to pull that off. So it does say recommended power to charge a battery this size is 800 watts. The battery can be fully charged in one day with effective sunshine of about 4 to 5 hours by an 800 watts of solar panels. So to give you an idea of the reservoir capacity and how long it takes to charge it, that's quite a bit. And it says it may take more than one day to charge the panels. If they're less than 800 watts, also the intensity of the sunlight. 20 to 50 amp charge controller will definitely get the job done. And it even has the charging settings for your charging panel. 28.8 volts is charge, bulk, or boost voltage. 28.8 is our absorption. Over voltage is 30, and disconnect is 21.6. So that's quite a discharge on that. You can use it with an alternator or a generator, it says as well. And testing, that's just basic stuff here. Then lastly, series and parallel connections, 48 volts at 100 amp hours, or up to 400 amp hours at 24 volts. And so that's just telling you how to do that. Identical batteries of the same battery capacity, and so that's where you get into weirdness when you get into batteries. Like if I was going to take 24 volt 100 amp hour and a 24 volt 50 amp hour, yeah, I'd still get 48 volts, but you're going to have all kinds of inconsistencies and different charge rates, and that's going to cause problems with your system. So if you're going to link two batteries together, best to get two of these lifetime batteries to create a 40-volt system. I happen to have another battery from them that I'm going to do just that. It does have a quick start guide as well, and some stickers here. Lifetime cheers, lifetime stay strong, explore the future. Just a couple stickers if you want to put these on your RV or something like that. Okay. Your pulse bolts, it says, are right here, which is kind of nice of them to put that sticker there to let us know. And I use this stuff. I sell a lot of stuff on eBay, so anytime I get a package now, I'm actually looking for, hey, is there enough foam packing I can reuse that? Sometimes the box too. This is a pretty stout box. Now it does have, I'm just going to drop this on the ground here, wiggle this out of here. It does have some nice carrying handles. I really appreciate them doing that as well. Size-wise, not terribly large. I do believe they're starting to get a little smaller for the same amount of energy, which, I mean, that makes sense if you think about it, like progress, you know? 25.6 volts is actual, so people may not realize that when you think of a car battery being a 12-volt battery, the actual charge is 12.6, 12.8 even sometimes. And of course, when it's charging 13.5 to 14 volts is not uncommon. So when we talk about a 24-volt battery, oftentimes that's actually like a 50% charged battery. All right, it says it's the Smart Edition. There's an app for it, and it is Bluetooth capable. So if you wanted to set this up in an RV or a camper or an off-grid cabin that just had minimal usage of power, this in itself gives you an idea of state of charge and, you know, like how much, what the capacity is currently and how many hours to fully charge it back up. It gives you, with Bluetooth, you can check on a lot of things with this battery as far as charge and discharge. A lot of the charge controllers, solar charge controllers, you've got to buy an additional item. I have a Rhenology 60 amp charger currently that I'm using, and the Bluetooth module for it was like another 80 bucks. So this is kind of nice to check the overall state of charge on the battery. The nominal voltage, like I said, 25.6 volts, and it is 100 amp hour. I was looking to see if there was actually a model number, but it looks like there isn't. I guess the model number is just this. Right on the back here, Smart Bluetooth 5.0, low temperature charge protection, so it's going to cut out if it gets below. That's kind of nice. And it's saying, don't open this thing, don't crush it, don't heat it up over 158 degrees. And if there's any stuff leaking around the battery, that's a big problem, like a really big problem. All right, so in here we go with this. We have our two terminals and our caps. I'll go ahead and install those while we finish talking here. So it does come with the controls, nice terminals with studs. It's Phillips head on top. It also looks like it's a 12 millimeter to me, and that's the negative side there. Take this cap off, pop the positive on it. So look, what are you going to use this for if this is the only battery you're going to purchase for a system? A lot of the people that come to my channel are interested in emergency preparedness, right? Which is a very wise thing to be. To be prepared for an emergency, this item right here, along with, they're saying 800, but I'll be honest with you, you could get away with 400 watts easy on this thing. You are going to get days and days and days, honestly, of work out of a ham radio or a CB radio or a police scanner, or frankly, all of the above. You can power that kind of equipment, and if you're not transmitting, if you're just receiving, those items combined, like if I had a scanner, a CB radio, a ham radio, a weather band radio, all on at the same time, you're looking at maybe 50 to 60 watts of nominal power. The power just sit there. Now when I transmit, yes, the amperage use goes up, the wattage use goes up, especially with ham radio gear. But for the most part, you could use something like this for that off-grid, grid down, I would say, situation. Now look, you've been following my channel. You know I live in the mountains of North Carolina. We had a major grid down event. We had a major natural disaster not more than 6 months ago, and that was Hurricane Helene. We went without power here at our house for 10 days. If I hadn't had my solar set up, we would have lost all the food in our house. We would have lost a lot of stuff, and we would have really been in a much worse shape than we were. But because of the solar I had and the batteries like this that I was able to store that energy in, because we had like 5 days of cloud cover afterwards, well, I was okay. I mean, it wasn't a great life, but it was a good life. Does that make sense? I can't recommend to you enough that you invest in something along the lines of a solar backup system. You can have a generator, and I knew plenty of people that did. Half of them found out their generators weren't working because they hadn't touched them in 5 years, and the gas had gone bad, and the carburetors had gummed up, and they just didn't have the mechanical knowledge that, by the way, you can learn over at Farpoint Motors and More to fix that. The other half found out that, yeah, their generators fired up and worked great, but they are gas hogs. And so after a few days with no driveway and no way to go get more gas, they burn through their gas. You can try to siphon it out of cars, but most cars have anti-siphon valves, and so you can't. And so that was where a lot of them were stuck with perfectly operational generators that just wouldn't run because there was nothing to run them on. Solar takes care of that problem. Even in a cloudy day, a solar panel will still produce. This morning I had a 400 watt panel that operates the deep freeze here, and it was very cloudy this morning. It's starting to clear up now, and it was still putting out 77 watts. 77 watts is going to run all that radio equipment in receive mode right out of the gate. So it's pretty cool stuff. Anyway, that'll do it for today. I will certainly leave a link to where you can get one of these, and I do appreciate Lifetime sending this to me because it's going to help me offset costs when I do the major upgrades. We're going into a fuse box tie-in, a generator transfer switch tie-in. It's going to be quite a massive project. I'm going to bring you along for that. Till next time, my friends, take care.